Hello once again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. This week's episode 27.
I can't believe it's 27.
Oh, didn't expect that accent. And we're talking television this week. So stick around if you want to hear more. Hello Dad.
Hello Connor.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Good.
Alright, is that the end of the podcast?
Yeah, please.
Alright. Well, thank you very much for listening this week. We'll see you next week. Bye. We haven't gone.
No, haven't gone.
Here. Unfortunately for you.
Yes, quite, yeah. So, what we're going to do then?
I think the plan is we're talking television today.
Okay. Got anything to get off your chest beforehand? So I know how you are.
Well, I'm going to leave the shirt on, please.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then just
should I have something to get off my chest?
No, but I have, and I thought it would be a way of actually...
Oh, would you like me to say something that would make you feel a bit better?
Yeah.
I went for a run.
Well done.
Thanks.
Anyway, back to me then. There's a few things I wanted to just quickly run through before. One of the things was that we'd not mentioned the England football team. Over the weeks we've been recording this, there's been matches, we've got very involved in it.
Yeah.
And obviously, unfortunately, they lost in the final on penalties, as everybody knows. But just wanting to say how fantastic they were, how proud I am of them. I'm now getting over it, I think. It was quite difficult at the time, but brilliant. I'm very unlucky not to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that we did record an episode. Didn't we record an episode the day after?
Yes, I think it was in amongst it all the time, wasn't it? So it was quite stressful, but there we go. The other thing
is... The Denmark episode. Sorry, just to mention, when we mentioned Denmark, that went out the day of the final.
Yes, in fact it did, didn't it? The other thing was, I like to go back to previous podcasts and just sort of address a few things. One of the things was I said that I had two big bugbears, and then only mentioned one of them. But the other...
Well, this is classic you, though, isn't it? You don't finish your sentence.
Exactly. But the other big bugbear I had was we were talking about music, we were talking about people recording songs from the past. And
sorry, Exhibit A, the big bugbear is, and then you went on to do another sentence.
Yeah. Anyway, the other big bugbear I had was a specific bugbear, and that specific bugbear was
Keep saying bugbear?
Yeah, was a victim of a hit and run musically by Miley Cyrus the other day when a song came on that I recognised, and then I just felt sad for the rest of that song because Miley Cyrus has done a cover of Metallica's Nothing Else Matters. That song doesn't need to have itself covered. It is
right, excellent
as it is, and it makes me weep. And that was my other big bugbear, but we'll move on from that now.
Yeah, we'll move on from that because everyone, it's probably quite a compliment to have your song covered.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, I've just remembered something else I was going to ask.
All right.
Have you seen the news?
I've seen stuff about the news.
Yeah. Have you seen the Bigfoot news?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Did you see the Bigfoot news?
I did see the Bigfoot news.
Now, we had a episode about Bigfoot very early on.
So if you listen back to it, they've got better.
But recently, two people in canoes, kayaks, I don't know, were paddling down a river, and what did they see? They saw a Bigfoot
squatting,
carrying a littler foot across the water.
See, I saw a picture and it looked like the Bigfoot was squatting.
No, I think that's just you filling in gaps. It was wading across the... I think it's just proof that they're out there, family units of them, and this is the proof we needed. All right.
Well, 5 minutes in, should we get in... Well, it's not quite 5 minutes in, but should we move on to television?
Yes. Away you go.
Oh, okay. I didn't expect the first mention there of television, even though I was the one who brought it up. So, television.
Yes.
I think a key thing that might be worth mentioning, because we mentioned it over a couple of episodes. We mentioned it in the 60th episode, the 70th episode. It's changed a lot, hasn't it?
Well, it has changed a lot. I mean, obviously the amount of programs that can be
Channels.
watched, the amount of channels that can be watched, the quality of the picture,
The ability to pause
black and white to colour, everything
on
like that.
demand.
Yeah, so
You
there's
can watch TV in quotation.
Sorry.
Oh,
It's still his back. The cough's back. Go on.
it's every time we record though. Just before everything as well. In quotation streaming services could be considered TV.
Yeah,
bit
no,
different
all
way
of
of-
that
there's
is
different ways of
because it's
watching
just
TV nowadays.
changed the way we've done things, and we
Used to
often
be
talk,
go to the cinema to watch TV almost.
well, to see anything like
Like
that, and
big,
then
something big
anything
event that's
epic.
happening.
But then obviously it was a family event to a certain degree when certain things come on. Not probably before you were born. I mean, I can remember watching certain programs, and if it was a Christmas special or something like that, even not that long ago, where you'd sit round, because we've talked about this before. Unless they rerun it, there wasn't necessarily at the
Yeah.
time a way of.
They didn't have
recording
Dave,
it.
did they?
They didn't have Dave or Deja Vu either, my favourite one.
Dave plays reruns of stuff, and then Deja Vu reruns the reruns.
Yeah. No. So
And Gold.
So there's part of that I think that's quite a nice way to think you've got to invest your time to do it. But now, obviously, at your leisure, you can watch, you can binge watch, and you can do all that sort of thing. But just tracking back a little
I
bit.
will sometimes wait until an entire series has been on and then watch all of it.
Well, yeah, I
Sometimes,
guess this
depending
is-
on how into the
But
series
we've talked
I am.
about that before. The difficulty with that is that
Can't do that with
spoilers.
EastEnders. I'm waiting to the end of EastEnders so I can just watch all of it.
No, don't bother.
No.
I saw the very first episode of EastEnders on a massive great telly in my room in Basildon. Just
How big was this TV?
it was big. It was a big and
When
with
you
a
say
big back to it as
you
well.
mean big. You don't mean big screen. You mean big back.
No, I mean big as in it took about 3 people to pick it up and move it around, and it was huge at the back. There was more of it at the back than there was at
Square
the
as
front.
well, I imagine.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just a slight detour there. Now, one of the things as well is the nature of programs, and obviously TV programs reflect normally the era, the particular decade, particular times you're in. So it's interesting when you look back at
Except
TV.
period dramas.
Well, except period dramas, but you look back and went like
And
in
one set in
my
the future.
lifetime, so that's end of 60s going through 70s. There's been a very, very different sort of programs that have been on, and I mean, something that's very at the front of everything now is the being politically correct.
I was literally about to
things.
say how the thing being PC and stuff like that.
Well, it's funny actually because I watched a program,
I mean, you look back and there's some stuff that clearly
can't be shown again. But
not necessarily shown, but taken with a. I mean, I'm going to come up with an example. I know I'm interrupting you there, but Disney. If you watch Disney Plus and you watch some of the old Mickey Mouse, it says there are depictions of things that are seen as not correct nowadays, or characters smoking or something like that, like Disney characters smoking. And they make it clear that this was because of the time.
Yeah, it's strange actually. There's two different sides to it because, like I say, I was watching TV the other night, and as always, you put on something. It'll be on in about 10 minutes, so you end up watching the previous program. And there was a program on called Man About the House. Now, this was the 70s. It's about, and I think they made an American version of it. I don't know which came first, but it was the 70s. So there was a fella living with 2 young girls, and it was about their relationship. And it was a bit, it was like everything of that sort of time. But I started watching it, and I thought, what's this going to... And I never remember it being anything terrible in it, but I thought, oh, hang on, should they be showing this? Because probably any second now there'll be a very sexist remark, very, I don't know, could be anything within it. But it wasn't, it was okay, it was fine. But it just struck me that there were things like that. There was like, I think one of the more famous is the Love Line Neighbour one, which had a black family living next door to a white family. Now, they won't show that anymore, but that was quite a popular program at the time.
Sometimes shows nowadays, as a way of, I would say, educating about differences, will purposely show stuff like that. I mean, there's been shows like, I can't remember the name of it now, but you know, there was about a family that moved from China to US.
Oh, Fresh Off the Boat.
Fresh Off the Boat, that's it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like showing you about there was discrimination and stuff like that back in time. There was something else I wanted to mention briefly, but go on.
And you've brought up a point there, and I remember watching The Big Bang Theory quite recently.
Yeah.
Watching The Big Bang Theory, and great program, hilariously funny, the characters really good. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not sort of. I'm quite open-minded about things, and I can understand a joke compared to something that's actually supposed to be insulting. But in that, it struck me that they do impressions and take the mickey out of Raj.
Yeah.
And although the whole of the program is done in a good spirit and all the rest of it, I did a couple of times when I heard it, thought, blimey, they wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think they'd make a program in this country like that.
There is a bit of a difference, actually, because when it comes to things like accents, I'm a bit of an advocate for saying there's nothing wrong with doing an accent, because as long as you're not doing it in a offensive way. Like, for example, if I did an Irish accent,
yeah,
it would be deemed not wrong, because I'm essentially doing something of another white culture.
Yeah.
Now, it is deemed wrong to do sometimes of an Indian accent, a Pakistani accent, or maybe some kind of African
Jamaican,
accent.
any other.
Less so South African, because there are quite a lot of white people within South Africa.
But it's
now,
I
am part of the thing that if you're mocking their culture because of it, yes, absolutely wrong. I am a bit on the side of, if you're just doing an accent and stuff like that, as long as you're not mocking it.
Well, interestingly, and I don't want to, because we're not talking about television, absolutely just about television here, but it's when people, there'll be people that do impressions of their relations.
Yeah.
And that in a way, sort of, it's acceptable to do, but, it's a difficult sort of subject, really.
And before we move on to this topic, I wanted to mention something, because I was going to mention it a second ago, but conversation diverted a little bit. Father Ted, been rewatching that recently.
Yeah.
There's a particular episode, and I just wanted to mention it briefly, right in the first series, and it is before my time as well. I think it was like 1905, possibly before that or something. Yeah. That came out. But an episode in the first series where Father Jack, who's the drunk guy and stuff like that in the corner, said, and it goes to a flashback, said, Father Jack will be doing your PE lesson today, girls.
Watched it the other night. Yeah.
Yeah, in an all-girls school-run Catholic school. He said, be doing your PE lesson today, and he said there's no need for you to wear
your tracksuit tops because
it's quite warm. And that's kind of thing, because even when you mentioned about things being PC now, if you think about it, that's about young girls in a school.
But it's about a character, and Father Ted is, when we talk about our favourite programmes, Father Ted is one of my
one among those, yeah.
But yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a very tricky subject within
It's
TV.
A fine line, but I think sometimes when you look back at things that are written previously, you've got to take things with a pinch of salt.
There are definitely things that were written some time ago
for the time
do not sit in today's world.
Some things will be completely ignored in today's culture, but yeah. Before we go on to the next section, you had an idea for a new segment of the podcast, didn't you?
Oh, well, yeah. And I think really it's an apology of a segment, because from the word go when I've been doing these, it's been one inaccuracy after another. And I sometimes mention them, they're sometimes mentioned to me, but sometimes immediately after I've done them I realise it. So I've got a new sort of, what did you call it?
Segment,
that's it. I've got a new segment, and it's called I've forgotten what it's called.
It's called Fact Check.
Fact
We
Check.
won't be introducing it each time.
No,
we'll just
good
play
God,
it.
no,
but
'cause
this is the only time we'll be introducing
Okay,
it.
so-
And it's a good thing you remembered the name.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know what's going on with me now.
Should we just go for it?
Go for it.
Fact check.
When mentioning Roger Miller in last week's episode, I said he was a Cameroon forward in the 1980 World Cup. Of course, it was 1990.
Fact check.
Right, so that was that.
Yep,
Do you reckon there'll be more?
undoubtedly.
Yep. All
Okay.
right. On to the next bit.
Yep. So, favourite TV programmes. We went off a little bit of a tangent, but it was a serious subject we needed to talk about. But TV programmes that have been important to you, Connor.
I would say, well, Father Ted, certainly one. I would say, actually, and this diverts into another brief topic I did want to mention, but I'm going to do it now anyway, is there's a lot of TV programmes that you've kind of liked and encouraged me to watch.
Yeah. Inappropriate sometimes.
Sometimes when you think about the age I first watched them, potentially, but we don't care. Father Ted being one of them, IT Crowd,
Yep.
Red Dwarf,
Yep.
a lot of those kind of programs that I love a sitcom.
Yeah, I mean, it's a traditional thing, and it feels like it's I'm not sure it isn't, but it feels like it's a British thing. There's a certain type of program like that.
Certainly the British humour in those ones.
Yes, which is
mentioned there.
very different, I think, from elsewhere around the world.
Black Books.
Oh, you're mentioning ones. I mean, I had a list of ones, and you've already mentioned, like sort of IT Crowd, Black Books, Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf being one of our favourite programs.
I mentioned that one too.
Did you mention that one? I'm having a terrible time today.
Hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive, yeah, Not Going Out is a big favourite of mine. But that's sort of, you know, these have been going on. I mean, something like Blackadder was only a certain amount of series of it, and in a way, I'm glad they did that. Huh?
I said 4.
4. Well, and the extras and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, comedy. I think comedy is a massive thing.
comedy.
Whether it's like you say, sitcom side of things, or whether it's just a pure comedy. I suppose they've all, in a way, has got a sitcom about it. You know?
Sometimes when you say pure comedy, you mean like the panel shows are quite big for it as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I do love a panel show.
I do to a certain extent. I did get at one point a little bit
Would I Lie to
overwhelmed
You?
by how many they are.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I Would Lie to You is Would I
Sorry?
Lie to You even? It's another one that I was watching. Obviously,
It's the
something
one
different.
they definitely going to like.
Yeah, Would I Like You? Yes, I would. It's a really short program.
Yeah.
No. God's sake. Is Bob Mortimer on there? He's one of the funniest things I'd ever see.
I've just remembered, and now I'm really struggling to remember. Is it Morecambe and Wise?
Yes.
Now, I remember being a kid and going downstairs, and this is when it was still dark outside, when we had those red kind of patterny curtains, for anyone listening, so they know what the curtains
Sets
were
the
like at the
scene
time.
there, yeah.
And I remember getting up, because I used to get up really early, eating cereal, and go downstairs and watching Morecambe and Wise. I remember one particular time and I'd sit and eat my cereal on the floor and really laughing at it. Do you
It's
remember
probably
that?
sort of Christmas time, you know. They tend
And I remember you being there, and I think you
Yeah,
coming
I
in and
think
out of
it's
the
a-
room, and I think you were liking that I was sitting there really laughing.
right
at
of
Morecambe and
passage,
Wise.
really. I mean, when I was younger,
Because if you think about my generation, that is not what we'd be watching.
my mum and dad
just happened to be on.
Yeah, but it's weird, isn't it? My mum and dad used to watch it, so I used to watch it. I used to find it really funny, and in a way, Eric Morecambe, my dad reminded me, or Eric Morecambe reminded me of my dad. And the way he did things. And then I carried on watching it, and it is still funny. But then a lot of the comedians these days, if they had to put a list of, the top comedians and I mean, they didn't particularly write their own material, but their delivery of it was incredible. And they had, TV-wise, they used to have their specials used to be unbelievable, the figures they'd get for them. And they were the elite show.
On like the free channels there were.
Yeah, But
BBC
yeah.
One, BBC Two, and ITV.
Yeah, but you know, when I think they went from, I don't know if they went from BBC to ITV and back or whatever, but it was a big coup to get them, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, to see you, I guess it's like a lot of these things we've talked about over these podcasts, to see you laughing at something, and it's silly, but to see you laughing at it, and it just reminded me sitting there laughing at it with my dad, and that's you know, a generational thing, and I hope they're still playing Morton Wise, and I hope it's still relevant. To a certain degree, there are still bits of that are very, very dated, but a lot of it is just funny because it's funny.
Two
Doesn't matter when
Ronnies, similarly.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I often can't remember the particular ones I like, but Two Ronnies, the word play in the Two Ronnies, specifically, I used to always think Ronnie Barker was the funny one and all the rest of it. I've got a bigger appreciation of Ronnie Corbett and the anecdotes he used to do, and they're absolutely brilliant because they sound like there's no structure to them, but there's so much structure to them.
Yeah.
So no, they're absolute classics you've just talked about, but I mean other stuff as well. I mean, we're in a golden age of drama now.
Sorry, I just want to mention before we go off comedy, Only Fools and Horses was a fantastic TV show as well.
I mean, again, you know, but you know, the
gags.
writing is incredible.
But drama, sorry.
No, but dramas, we're in a golden age at the moment of the sort of quality
Mum
and
loves a
money
drama.
spent on these things now. They're little films. They're epic. They're sort of, they've got the same sort of budget, a lot of them, as major films.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting, you know, if you can get like crime ones and whatever, but you can get fantasy stuff and that, and a lot of the places like Netflix will have. I think they've got a Lord of the Rings coming up.
That's Amazon, that one.
Oh, is it Amazon?
But this is sorry.
It's the money being pumped.
Sorry to hop in here.
Yeah,
just jump in. When it comes to things like that, Amazon, Netflix, Disney Plus, there's probably some more that I can't remember. Hulu in America and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
They do have these such big budgets. Yep, they have these such big budgets they can just pump into this thing. One example being Loki. How we've just watched Loki. You haven't quite finished it yet.
No.
But that was epic. And I think, like you're saying, they're like mini films. Each in their own episode is like a mini film. And you get so many more hours out of it than a film.
And also, there was a danger at one point.
Sit there and binge, you'll be there for like 8 hours compared to a film
technology
that's 2.
Sort of started to forge ahead. And I think there was a period where the look of it and the effects were top notch. But at the expense of an actual decent story. Yeah. But now I think the writers, they've got such, and I'll say the word diversity because I think it is the right way of describing it, of writers throughout these things now, and they really get to input their own personality on something. So even if it's something like, so Loki is a character from a Marvel, it's already been in some epic films. Now there's a series, but the person who's brought that in there has really brought something different to it.
Yeah.
And we saw that with other stuff that they've done. So I think it's the experimentation as well with some of this stuff that's really good.
A key example, I think, of watching things, and I guess go back to the ages and watching things develop, and how, because films used to be that films would have the best technology films would be, because all the money pumped into a film, you can put many, many hours into a film. Like, for example, Shrek, the amount of hours you put in to produce 1 second of footage, like, be like a whole day. A whole day of development to do 1 second of footage.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, so you wouldn't necessarily do that for TV because it's going to take far too much work just to do something that's only on for 30 minutes, and you've got to do however many episodes. But a key example of watching things gradually change is Doctor Who. Because you watch things right from the start and there isn't much technology in it, but they gradually develop, and even to a point where potentially technology is at a better point, but to pump it into a BBC television programme, the budget just isn't there. And that's especially more noticeable when it comes to like even more recent Doctors, like the 9th Doctor, the 10th Doctor, like Chris Ferguson, David Tennant. And you watch as more recent Doctors, writing isn't my favourite, but more recent Doctors and watching how the effects have really changed, and anything can look. Because it used to be one of my favourite Tom Baker episodes. I can't remember the name of it. Is when there's basically kids wrapped in green bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And you compare that to nowadays, the technology
the Arc,
wise.
I think it's called. Yeah, but and the technology. But as I say, there was a point where people put effects in it for the sake of it. Just we can do this whizzy thing where it sort of flips around and do that. So they just do it.
And it's also worth mentioning the absolute skill that some of these people have in I mean, I've got a friend, Ellis.
Right, sorry.
Yeah, I've got a friend who works freelance, but he works at ITV at the moment.
Yeah.
It's incredible actually seeing some of my own friends do amazing stuff like this.
Into that sort of field,
and it makes you appreciate what I've watched them do during school time, like when I was at school and stuff like that as well. The amount of effort they put into these things, and it's just incredible what some of these people can do. And it's worth mentioning how talented, and even some British talent there as well, in creating.
We have got some of the best in the world in the technical side of production. Yeah. I mean, obviously,
there's a company
always used to be film, but obviously that bleeds into TV work because it, that again is. TV now,
the budget that was there for film,
the
and
TV
now it's there for TV
is
as well.
To work on something. In fact, there's a lot of people that would work on TV before movie, and we do get. I mean, I do find it difficult because there's so much to try and get through, and I don't watch that much TV, so I might happen upon something. I do get confused. There's so many crime
neither of us
things
watch much TV. We mostly watch streaming stuff because Mum's watching TV.
Monopolises the TV, yeah. But
luckily we've got all four and Netflix and Disney Plus.
I mean, there's countless
UK
other
TV.
programs. I mean, I'll walk away from this and go, oh yeah. Well, things like that really, really make me laugh. And I think I've said before about other stuff, but. I prefer comedy. I do prefer comedy. I love other genres, but comedy is something that, it's escapism. And if I'm really laughing, if I'm exhausted from laughing at something, it's done what I needed it to do. What about programs that you don't like?
Programs I don't. We've done this before, and I don't necessarily have programs or any. I find it difficult to think of things that I dislike, but I feel like because you've asked that question, you've got something.
Sorry, you want
dislike.
to know? You want to know the programs I don't like?
This is where I feel like it's leading to.
Well, here we go then.
Oh, he's got his phone out. He's got a list.
Yeah,
hang on.
So,
hold on, everyone.
A real problem for me is reality TV shows.
Yeah, you love them.
No, I can't stand them. Right, and I find it really a real difficult watch. Now. There's certain elements. I'm into my music, so if you've got someone up there and they're a singer and they're a fantastic singer and they've gone for a route like that, well, great. And I possibly could watch things like The X Factor or
The Voice.
The Voice at the end. The Voice is slightly different because
they're
most
good.
of the people on The Voice are
well, actually, no, I think they're all good, just not necessarily the best.
I cannot. I suppose sorry, I just whacked the.
I didn't hear it that time.
It's car crash TV, really. That's what I find difficult because,
sorry,
there's so much
car
of
crash
it.
TV. When you actually watch stuff like the traffic patrol and stuff like that, they're really interesting. But I assume you don't actually mean physical car crash. You mean other stuff.
I'm talking about someone walking up there and everybody finding it hilarious, and then everybody next day saying, "Oh, did you see so and so? They were terrible." And I think. I find that really difficult to deal with.
X Factor, like the guy that sings, "What have we done to the world? What have we done?" That one's pretty terrible.
See, I wouldn't necessarily know.
I've only watched
because
it on like Facebook and stuff.
But and more recently, Love Island. Now, I spoke about watching a bit of Man About at the House before a programme came on. Love Island's always on before. I quite like Family Guy. And it's on, just before that, and so I often see the last few minutes of that, and even if it's on and I've got sort of doing something else, it angers me. It is so ridiculous. It angers me, but people love it.
All right. Well, really, really quickly, just before we go on to the next section, because I know we're in time, do an impression of one person from TV. Go.
One person from TV?
Yeah, TV show or something.
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm just going to look down my thing.
I put him on the spot. I didn't tell him about this.
I don't know. I've gone blank.
I'm gonna do Jim from Friday Night Dinner.
Oh, this is all just because you've just managed to do Jim from Friday Night Dinner recently.
I've watched
and you
a lot
wanted
of Friday
to
Night Dinner.
showcase it. See, this is what I'm
Hello,
talking about.
Jackie. You look nice.
See, now this is exactly what I'm talking about. Reality
Shalom.
TV. Reality TV at its worst.
That's not reality TV.
Someone just
That's a sitcom.
reality podcast. Someone coming on and trying to showcase something and sort of crowbarring it in under the pretense of asking me to do an impression off TV. Pathetic.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hey, you. What, me? No, not you. You. Me? Yes, you. Have you got a hamster? Yes, how did you know? It's the way you're standing, but that's not important now. Is your hamster listless, boring and lacking in personality? Fear not, because at Furry Friend Systems we can turn even the most uninterested rodent into an enigmatic and dynamic pet. By installing our top-of-the-range entertainment system, you will get 150 premium channels, including blockbuster movies, hard-hitting documentaries, premier sport, and a whole channel devoted to cardboard tubes. Now there's something to gather around the water bottle on a Monday morning to discuss. Subscribe now and get the first month absolutely free.
First month free, then $75.99 per month. Locked in 10-year contract. Failure to pay will result in us taking your firstborn. Terms and conditions apply. Always read the small print.
Game time.
Right, so on to the game for this week. Now, this week we've done stuff similar to this in the past.
We have?
Yeah, so I had an idea.
You did?
And then there was a bit of confusion.
There
and
was.
So I said, let's for the television episode, because we planned these a couple of weeks in advance.
Yeah.
Let's do pitches for television shows. And if you recall the sci-fi episode, I said there was a bit of confusion, and Dad wrote pitches for sci-fi things, so I ended up writing pitches. So we've got pitches again. So I hope you enjoyed it in the sci-fi episode, because we're about to do it again.
Okay.
Because I'm aware how much I've written for these, should we just get ready to get started? Should we?
Okay, shall we play a sting?
Let's play the sting.
Aha! 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 Give me some, give me some, give me some pitches. You b****.
Another great sting. There is something I will mention about that sting though. Initially when Dad recorded it, there's no censor bleep. I thought I better put that censor bleep in.
I was having a very difficult week. It has been a very difficult week. It could have been a
Yeah.
lot worse than that, believe me.
It could have been.
Right.
It's
okay.
glad it was that rhymed. Well, bearing in mind how many I've got. So how many have you got? Sorry.
Oh, well, I've got lots, so I might just pick out
Why don't you start and
arguably
then
some of the good ones.
you start, because if you got more, you're
Okay.
best to start.
Okay, well, my first one I want to pitch as a new TV program. It's called Blankety Tank.
Right.
It's basically 3 celebrities get 6 days to purchase and pimp a tank,
Oh, I like it.
right? Each bringing their own personality to the project. Sounds
Right.
like I was drinking their personality to the project. So they haven't got any limitations to what they do. They could put some massive, great goggle eyes on the front of it. Actually, that's
Googly eyes.
oh yeah, googly eyes. What did I say?
Goggle eyes.
Goggle eyes. I'm
You're
just
very
like I'm
drunk.
In fact, I don't even want to talk anymore. I'm just going to sit here
I
and
like
figure
it.
a tank with big googly eyes on the front. But yeah, so hosted by, I'm thinking Mr. T.
Right. Okay.
Right, 'cause
Yeah.
I
No,
think
that's,
he'd bring
I
him.
like that.
Or if he's not available, Ryan Clark Neal.
Rylan.
That's what I said, didn't I?
You said Brian.
Oh, well, I've written down Ryland, so I obviously just said that wrong. So Ryland Clark Neal, but preferably Mr. T. But basically, they've got a period of time, and they can do
I think
whatever
he'd
they
be
like
pretty pleased
about
with
it.
second choice there, though. Ryland.
He probably would, yeah. He'd probably like that.
X Factor star he was.
Yeah, I
Your
know.
favourite
I
show?
know, but you know,
He's actually quite funny.
yeah. So what do you think?
I love it. I love it. I think if Katie Price is going on, though, it's definitely just going to be Pink.
With huge boobs on the front.
Wow. She had a reduction, to be fair,
What?
because they were too
Half
big.
price. Half price boob job. Is that what you mean when you said reduction? You didn't pay full
I
whack
didn't,
for them.
But
Anyway, so that's my first one. So I'm quite pleased with that.
you should be quite pleased with it.
Yeah.
Now, some of mine are original ideas.
Oh,
I feel like a burp coming. I've just drank loads of lemonade, so I do apologise.
Okay.
Some of mine are original ideas. Some of mine have, like yours. Oh, I feel like I'm going to burp again. You're doing it as well.
Just do it. Just do whatever.
Yeah, so some of mine are puns that I've created a show from. Oh, I just went off mic
You
there
don't
just so
have
I
to
could
do
it
that.
now.
So you don't have to do that.
I think it'd be nicer for the listeners. If
Oh, yeah, I bet it's really pleasant. Go on.
So anyway, so I'm going to start off with one of those.
Right.
And leave my original ideas for a moment. First one's called The Weakest Sink.
What?
Have you got the weakest sink as well?
My next one is the weakest sink.
Right, okay. Maybe we should definitely commission this. Right, so this one's competitive plumbing. Professional plumbers are put head to head with one another to become the best plumber. Each round, competitors will face a selection of plumbing-based questions. With each question answered correctly, they'll be given a piece of equipment or part that will help them mending a sink. Players will be eliminated each round until just 3 are left. These 3 will have a race with their collected parts and tools to mend a broken sink. The fastest and the best job, so they can't just bodge it and whatever and leg it. That's our plumbing business, by the way, bodge it and leg it.
Budget and leg it.
Yes, so best one will to fix a sink will win a contract to refit one of Buckingham Palace's bathrooms. The series can keep on going as there are many bathrooms as well, so there's not restricted just one episode, and they can also move on to other royal properties once that's done.
Okay.
What do you think? It's like the Royal Variety Show, but for plumbing.
Is it? Right. Well, I can't believe we've both done the weakest sink. Mine's slightly different. 3 celebrities get 6 days to purchase and work on the sink. Very similar to my take
Yeah,
one, right?
similar.
It's a bit like Kaplunk, Buckaroo or Jenga. The idea is they take turns placing items in each other's sink until it falls through. Then they are eliminated. And
like that.
Who's your host for your one?
Oh, I was thinking. I can't remember her name now. The one that she did Weakest Link,
Oh, Anne Robinson.
Anne Robinson. But I was going to think of a pun, but I forgot to.
No, see, I think I want William Shatner to host my one.
You're getting big stars.
But if not, Ryland Clark Neal.
Right, I think I know where this is going already.
Right, so that's really weird that we both picked them. I think
it's
yours
weird,
is a
but-
stronger one. To be
Well,
honest,
I think mine's quite a in-depth idea. However, I do think it's going to be really difficult to commission because you've actually got to get permission from the royals to be able to use them.
they're notoriously miserable, aren't they? Right, next one up then.
I think it's best to be you because that was
Okay.
strictly speaking my turn.
Right, next one I've got is the Crystal Meth Maze.
Wow.
Right, 10 celebrities enter the Crystal Meth Maze and have to solve problems and riddles while under the influence of Class A drugs. The winner is the first one to find their way out alive. Tasks include getting a key into a lock, undressing and redressing themselves, giving directions to a taxi driver, riding a bike, amongst others.
It's great. I could see where there might be some moral problems with that, but screw
Channel
it.
4.
I reckon it'd be great. Channel 4 would do.
Channel 4, it's no
Channel 4
problem.
would do it.
I've got, I think, to host it, who have I got? Claudia Winkleman.
Or
Or if she's not available, Ryland. Clark Neal.
all right, okay.
Okay.
My next one,
Yep.
Danny Dyer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Which
called
one?
Danny Dyer is in Danny Dyer.
Right.
That
okay.
one. It's called Redefining the Globe.
Right.
Right. This documentary follows Danny Dyer on his journey to becoming the first Cockney astronaut. Space travel is becoming more and more common. So it's a little bit in the future now, with the likes of SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, and others. But there is still very much a fear around the unknown. In an effort to try and encourage more people to investigate the world beyond our world and take advantage of life beyond the stars, Danny Dyer takes us through his journey to show how easy and safe it is. There are some obstacles along the way, like with every documentary, some of them kind of set up, but none that can't be overcome. This show is on ITV, and it's sponsored by a space real estate company. So when they start selling sections of space which specialise in real estate in the solar system. So really it's all a big thing to encourage people to move out to space so that the real estate company that's sponsoring it can make money from it.
All right.
And
with Danny Dyer?
With Danny Dyer.
Right.
Because, he's the spokesman of the people, isn't he?
He is. He represents everybody for in anything.
You turned a little bit of giggle then, didn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Next, please.
8 out of 10 cats. I know what you think is there's already a program there called 8 out of 10 cats, but this is 8 cats and 2 humans. It's still a game show with cats and humans. There's 2 teams compete against each other. They have a human captain on each team. I'm not stupid, otherwise it wouldn't work.
No, you're not stupid.
And they're asked a series of questions about world events.
Right.
Okay. Quizmaster.
Yeah.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, wow, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. But if
what
he's
if
not available,
available?
I thought Ryland Clark Neal would be a perfect.
He's making so much money, isn't he?
He will be in mine. Anyway, yeah, that's that.
Do you want a quiz show?
Give me a quiz show.
I kind of have 2, but this, the weakest sync, like I said, this one's called Spill or No Spill.
Ah.
So it's a quiz show / game show. This was the first one I wrote, and it's pretty in depth.
Oh, blimey.
I've got rounds and everything. Contestants play in teams of 2. There are 4 teams. Each team selects a player to answer the questions, and the other is the transferer. The player answering the questions is asked 5 questions, but they only have 60 seconds to answer them all. They may skip a question, but they forfeit 10 seconds in doing so. Okay? After answering the questions...
I think I've turned over already.
The remaining time is given to the other player. So basically, if they've answered 5 questions in 30 seconds, the other player's got 30 seconds. Now, they've got 30 seconds to suck up liquid gold from the pool of fortune. It's actually just dyed water of some kind, or maybe just lit up in yellow lights, with a straw, and transfer it to a container on their podium. So they need to suck it up and then spit it out into this container on the podium. They swap places, and then and the team with the swap places and do the same the other way around, because they're teams of 2.
Or blowout water.
No. So the other one answers the questions, and then the other one sucks this transferer. And the team with the least amount of water in their container is eliminated. Now, this is repeated in a similar fashion for the second round, so they're both kind of identical. Similar to Pointless. Yeah. The third round gets a little bit different because the transferer is isolated, so they don't know how they're doing with the questions and does not know how much time they have available. So once they finish the questions, this guy, the other person, will come out and they will do the same thing. They'll try and suck up, but they don't know how much time they've got. So they've got a maximum of 2 minutes, a slightly longer time on this one. But they must complete the transfer without knowing how much time they've got. So for every mouthful they return, once the time has elapsed, so if, for example, you had 60 seconds and your 6 seconds are up and you return with a mouthful, then what you spit in won't count, and also the same volume of what you spit in will have to be removed from the container as well. So every time you go over, you potentially lose even more. So it's a bit more risky. This is repeated the other way around, so both team players do the same thing. The team with the greatest volume makes it to the final round. So this is basically they get the trophy, blah, 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 but now they need to play for the money. In the final round, one player becomes the carrier and the other the driver. So they're in a car now. They must transport a bowl of water around a bumpy racetrack without spilling it. As time passes, the container gradually goes down as well, so you can't just go around slowly. Whatever is less at the volume equates to a sum of money. So say, for example, for every litre you get this amount of money. And that's the game show.
And are you going to explain the rules at the beginning of the game show? Because
No,
you're
just
not going to
by
have a lot
round,
of time
by
to actually
round.
play the game.
Yeah, that was quite
Wow.
in depth, wasn't it?
That's like almost sensible. I can see an issue with the fact that we're
Apart
around
from the
about sort of
pandemic.
that there's a lot of spitting going on and
Yeah,
transferring.
we might have to do this one
We're not allowed
after.
to transfer. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know.
They can use separate straws.
Oh, they can. Right, 3 metre straws.
Yeah.
Cats in the attic.
Right. Excellent.
Several cat owners who have been deliberately and forcibly
Very cat orientated, your ones so far.
Are they?
Well, 2 of them.
What was the other one?
8 out of 10 cats.
Oh, yeah. Several cat owners who have been deliberately and forcibly separated from their beloved felines have to guess their moggy from the sound alone. The cats are in the attic and they're downstairs.
Yep.
If they are right, the cat lives.
Oh.
If they guess incorrectly, they never see their cat again.
Is that Schrodinger's cat as well?
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit like that.
It's a
Host.
bit dark. I feel like Petter might have a problem with this one.
Eh? No, can't see anything wrong with it. Host, Dame Judi Dench.
Oh, really
And
good. And
Tom Daly.
Tom Daly. And what if those 2 aren't available?
I've not really considered that, to be honest with you. I
Have you
can't
not?
see them not wanting to do it.
How about Ryland, though? Do you think...
No,
he
he's
would
not.
want
He's
to-
not.
It's not
I
his
don't
kind
think
of thing.
he's suitable for that.
Oh,
I
right.
think he's
okay.
allergic to cats anyway.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Right, I've got 2 more. I've got a sitcom and I've got a reality show.
Go
what
for
would
it.
you prefer?
No, sitcom first then.
Sitcom, okay. This one's called The Golden Platypus.
Right.
This is a sitcom set in a pub called The Golden Platypus.
Mm.
A group of 3 friends meet in their local every Friday evening after work. 2 are school friends, around 50, and the other is in his early 20s. One of the older guys, Paul, has 2 kids in their mid to late 20s, so about mid 20s and late 20s, and the other, Martin, is a single man with no kids. The younger one, Tyler, first met the older guys after he mistakenly sat at their table one evening in a drunken state. They thought it was funny and jokingly said for him to come back next week, and he did. They could never seem to shake him, but they grew fond of him in a paternal way. There are some other recurring characters such as Paul's wife Stacey, usually by phone, asking where he is, Paul's kids Ricky and Sarah, the barman Graham, landlady Babs, crazy old man Randall, and a very sweary old lady. Because, you know, the funny factor of swearing old lady. Martin's often has dates. Tyler has an ongoing crush on Paul's daughter, Sarah. Episodes are often lighthearted to see the trio trying to fix each other's messes, gives misinformed paternal advice to Tyler, just called General Chaos. For some reason, my computer's capitalised General, so General Chaos will salute you.
Yeah. Field Marshal Chaos.
There is also a lot of learning for Martin and Paul as they must learn to embrace the modern world and its challenges, things that were acceptable in their childhood no longer are, and they must learn this with some help from Tyler and some other young characters.
Oh,
It's
right,
a
so
sitcom
it's
but with a deep message.
A deep message.
And all the characters got names, but no funniness so far.
No, I noticed
Apart
that.
from the sweary
That was
old
the thing that
lady.
Really, yeah, there better be a lot of that
But I
swearing
feel like
old
that's a
lady in
good
it.
base, and then I didn't write an episode, obviously. So.
No, obviously there'll be
Maybe
a
next
lot
week.
of funny, but yeah. Right, okay.
Yep.
Silent Witless.
Right.
It's about some really stupid and incompetent pathologists. And basically it's a 12-part series where we follow them as they ruin evidence accidentally, make wrong report summaries, meaning cases are thrown out of court and murderers are roaming free.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
I haven't really thought more about it than that, but
It's like a drama.
yeah, serious.
Is Ryland in it?
I can't talk about it yet.
Oh, you don't know if you've got
No,
him yet.
It's in a sensitive point.
Right, okay.
Okay.
I've got just one more.
Right.
How many have you got?
Wow. 2, but don't worry about it. I'll just pick one. Go on.
Do you want to do one now, and then I'll do this one, then
Okay.
you do one after?
Don't wake with Bigfoot.
All
Can,
right.
can you answer all the questions before the Bigfoot wakes up and punches you in the face? The longer you take, the louder the ticking clock gets. The winner gets a cash prize and to feed the Bigfoot with a giant Kit Kat.
Excellent. What a callback as well.
Yep.
So this one's a reality dating show. It's called Love of My Dreams.
Right.
Yeah. So it's everything based on dating shows based on the person's dreams. Contestants are put to sleep, but not in like they're killed way. They're just sleeping. Once they awaken, they discuss their dreams with a dream expert, also known as a psychologist, and an animator. The dream expert will assess the dream to determine. I've written access, but assess the dream and determine what kind of person may suit the contestant. And the animator brings the dream to life in a cartoon style. Once the dream expert selects suitable partners, they are shown each other's dreams, where they must judge whether they like the person based on these. So they watch the animation of someone's dreams.
Wow.
Once they've selected the person, they must describe what they think they would look like. Once they've both described each other, they go on a VR date with VR date, and they each using the avatars created by the other person, so they get to know the person behind the dream and their personality before they even meet face to face. After this, they decide if they like each other to meet on a real date. Then they stay together until the end of time, because this is a technique that really helps people find long-term love, and it's got a 100% success rate.
Well, yeah, that's by far the best one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that was a really interesting idea. I think if you could do that, if the technology's there to do that, that's something I'd expect to see.
What animation software is there? So I think it's possible.
But unfortunately,
it's trumped by your one.
There's a new one coming out called "People Are So Stupid." Stupid people have to answer standard questions while a celebrity panel mocks them. If they answer a question right, they are patronised severely. If they answer wrong, they get a series of ever more painful electric shocks. There is no prize, as they are too stupid to notice. Host, Ryland Clark Neal,
Yeah.
and Chris Akabusi.
Oh, Chris Akabusi.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back.
I can't. I just think that that's something I'd watch. Although it's down the sort of avenue that I say I don't like.
Yeah.
But if I've invented it and I've got lots of money out of it, then maybe I'll think.
It doesn't matter really, does it?
Well, I think we've got an absolute.
I think
plethora.
we could even start our own channel with all of this.
Yeah.
What would you call it?
Hamster TV.
Hamster TV.
Yeah.
Wow. Is this all going to go on Hamster TV?
No, it's not. No.
Do you reckon hamsters will enjoy it?
No,
not the cat episodes.
Anybody will enjoy it. To be
not the
honest.
cat stuff you've written.
No, the cat. Well, there'd be like horror films to them, wouldn't
Yeah.
they?
Although they
like
won't
the
mind
ones
the one
being in
the
the attic
attic
would be quite. They would think that's a comedy.
Yeah.
It's like hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really
Okay.
fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Well, that takes us to the end of the episode, really, doesn't it?
It does take us to the end of the episode.
It's quite sad being the end of the episode.
Well, there'll be one next week.
Will there?
There will be.
Oh, interesting. Anyway, on to the last bit of the episode then. So, as of recording this, we've got our store.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this now, you missed the discount, didn't you? If you didn't buy something.
What are you like?
You silly sausage.
You probably bought a
Probably for the best, really.
Hamster TV entertainment system and can't afford anything else
Yeah,
for the
that's
rest of your
very
life.
So yeah, but however, there is on the store. If you spend over £30 free delivery, that's still there.
Mhm.
All you need to type in is, I think, free delivery or free at the end.
It's fairly self-explanatory
It
when you
pops
go
up.
on
There's
there,
a
I
message
imagine.
that pops up.
Yeah.
So just keep an eye out for that. But that's when you spend £30 or more.
Yeah.
But also on the website, which is fatherandsundays.com, we've also got a contact page. Now, it would be great if you were to use that, because it helps us listen to what you want to contact us about.
Yeah. Please do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm starting to get really frustrated with it now.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I've had a bad enough week as it is. I don't want another terrible week next week. So you could sort that out. You could help me. You could make my life a lot better by just making some sort of comment.
Yeah. What would you like them to put?
I don't care.
Can it be good, bad?
It can be anything. Just engage.
It could be a question.
It could definitely be a question,
be a question.
which will be answered honestly and openly.
It could be a comment.
It can be a comment which will be taken on board and learnt from,
It could be a
or
complaint.
dismissed if it's a terrible comment.
If it's a complaint, it could be dismissed.
complaint, yeah,
We'll listen to it.
Listen to it, and then I'll forget all about it and throw it in the bin.
Yeah. And then
The virtual bin.
suggestion.
Suggestion. Well, definitely suggestions, because we've used suggestions. We've had 2 episodes that have been suggested
Directly
by other
suggested.
people. Yeah.
There's
So
been
we-
other episodes that we've had suggestions and we've had a similar idea.
Yeah. But there's 2 episodes that have specifically been suggested by other people, and we've done them. So, go for it.
It's doable.
It is doable.
we've-
Anything's doable.
We've also got on that page, I mean, other than the amazing merchandise we've got, like the hoodie and stuff like that, and the T-shirt. I do love our new T-shirt that we put on there.
Mm-hmm.
The 11 of Diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, we've also got the blog page, the What's New page,
Yep.
where we tell you what's new
Yeah.
when there's something new.
Yeah, and if there isn't, what was new some
Back
months
then,
ago.
yeah. And there's the United States of America episode. We had played United States of America. That game is on there. All
Yeah.
those pictures. Also, there's the actual episodes page where you can look at the
So
episodes.
you can actually, listen to them on there.
Yeah.
From all over the world.
All over the world. It's actually quite interesting, some of the places that have been listened to recently.
It is ridiculous. The
Name
places
one.
that are Ecuador.
Yeah, Uganda.
Yeah. Are we supposed to be going backwards and
So,
forwards
like,
here?
Philippines.
Yeah.
Morocco.
Yeah, just
There's a lot more.
madness. There's,
Oh, we hit our 800 listens, didn't we?
we did listen.
We-
We did listen to our. Yeah, we did.
We
hear our-
listened to
yeah.
our episode 800
No,
times.
so it's interesting that people from all over the world seem to be listening to these podcasts. Bizarre, unexplainable in itself, but they are. So continue to do that. Tell people about it if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Tell people about it if you don't enjoy it. Tell us about it if you don't enjoy it. Tell us about it if you do enjoy it. Tell us.
Yeah. Also, you don't just have to listen to on the website. We've got Spotify, Acast,
Yep,
Deezer,
got a lot.
all of them pretty much. You can go on to listen there. If you're using one like Apple Podcasts or iTunes, you can leave a review.
Mm-hmm.
A 5-star review you can leave.
You can.
Or you can leave 4 stars. I would do 4 stars.
Yeah.
Um,
It starts getting a little bit.
it starts getting a little bit
Tragic
worse from
when it
there,
gets-
but
yeah.
if you can and you want to, that'd be great. But yeah, I feel like and social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you can like and follow us on those. We do updates. I think we do updates. I don't know what I'm saying. I think
We do updates, you're right.
probably should do more, but we do. Anyway, anything else you want to add?
No,
I
think
feel
we're
like
done.
I'm missing something.
Yeah, it does a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's probably because I've been speaking for
don't
too long
worry.
about this end bit,
And it will stop, and then we'll suddenly realise. So
Yeah.
don't worry.
and then we'll just miss it and put it in next week, but then we'll forget next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Okay then.
All right, we'll see you next week
Yeah.
when we tell you what we missed.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.